Good evening, everyone. I call the March 18th, 2026 Apple Valley Planning Commission meeting to order. The first item of business is the approval of the agenda. Any changes from staff?
Madam Chair, members of the commission, we do have a slight change from on our agenda. Hopefully you did get a copy of that. On number 4, public hearings, we revised that. I'll read it verbatim. Apple Valley Technology Park Data Center Project Op and Development. We're separating number 1 with conditional use permit for data center, and number 2, rezoning, preliminary plat, and site plan and building permit authorization. So we're going to be conducting one official new hearing and reconvening the second hearing for those other items.
Noted. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioners?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Sandal and seconded by Commissioner Scanlon. Any discussion? If not, all who approve say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Brings us to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine and will be enacted with a single motion without discussion unless there is a request to have any item separately considered. It will then be moved to the regular agenda for consideration. Can I get an approval for the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Scanlon and seconded by Commissioner Sandal. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That brings us to our public hearings tonight, and as Mr. Benetti just said, we will be having one open hearing and one will be reopened. So at this time, I will say the conditional use permit for data center, and I will open that public hearing at this time. We will now open the public hearing for agenda item 4A, number 1. The affidavit of publication for the notice of public hearing is available for inspection in the planning department. Everyone wishing to speak at this public hearing should be sure to fill out the attendance roster in the back. Include your name and your address so that accurate records can be maintained. We will begin the procedure with a brief presentation by city staff, followed by a presentation by the petitioner of the hearing. Upon the conclusion of the presentation, city staff will be asked to comment on their proposal's conformance with pertinent regulations and policies. After that, comments will then be taken by the general public. Mr. Benetti.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. For you tonight, as was spelled out, we're conducting an official public hearing on a conditional use permit application for a proposed data center use. We're also reconvening or reopening a public hearing from back over a year ago on February 5th, 2025 regarding the following applications: a rezoning, a preliminary plat, and a site plan and building permit authorization. And I'm going to touch on one of those on number A, or item A, a little bit later in this report. So Opdan is the applicant, along with Rockport LLC as the owners, proposing to develop a new data center campus titled Apple Valley Technology Park. The applications included, these were a combined packet of applications, a rezoning from SG Sand and Gravel to MUBC Mixed Use Business Campus. And as the report indicated back in February of 2025 in the updated report, that rezoning was predicated on the adoption of a new mixed use business campus district ordinance by the city. There's also the preliminary plat of Apple Valley Tech Park. That original plat consisted of 4 large lots with 2 outlots for future platting. That was revised later by the applicant after the February 5th hearing for 5 lots and 5 outlots, which I'll get into a little bit in a few seconds. Also, the site plan and building permit authorization, not a lot of change from that, but there was 5 large-scale data center buildings, sorry, that should be buildings, not buildings, of over 795,000 square feet, over 1 million plus square feet of total area, plus several smaller support buildings of just under 70,000 square feet. The conditional use permit would allow the data center to go into the MUBC district. Just for clarification, just want to show you the site that is under these applications. We basically or affectionately refer to this as the east side of the Orchard Place or the gravel pit mining area. You have 150th Street or County Road 42 in the north, Pilot Knob Road on the east, 152nd English and 155th on the southeast, and also future Johnny Cake Ridge Road on the west. The current site guiding, now this is site guiding, not zoning, is currently mixed business campus MBC. What you're seeing there in the purple shade is the underlying land use. The hatched-in area just shows the perimeters of the 135 acres that was subject to this application. Also part of our comp plan guide for this area, we refer to this map, figure 4.2, as the Orchard Place concept or priority planning area. Highlighted up on the screen is the outlined area of the proposed AV Tech Park site. And you'll see the three different color patterns there, the dark red, the salmon, and the blue area. So the B area, the red, is office, hotel, medical, commercial, retail. The C area is office, hotel, medical, and the G was medical, corporate campus, office, industrial, and commercial retail. So there's three different patterns there that had to be amended that were requested by the owners, Rockport, and Rockport actually requested a larger area, both the east and the west side, and they basically wanted to strip or take away or do away with these preferred land use categories and just go back to a straight mixed business campus. The current site zoning is SG sand and gravel. Highlighted here, also in the hatched-in area, is the areas. You'll note the small areas up north is P, that's P institutional, that is the current substation area that was not subject to rezoning, and also the two small parcels on the north end were two old farmsteads that were bought out by Rockport AVR a few years ago. Those remained in the A agricultural, but all that was going to be proposed for rezoning to an MUBC mixed-use business campus. The preliminary plat, as originally stated, called for 4 lots, and each of these lots was going to be the layout of these new buildings for the first phasing of this proposed Apple Valley Tech Park. The 2 outlots were going to be held for future outlots. These got, this was updated later by the applicant with 5 new lots and also with 5 new outlots. Also some dedication of right-of-ways as shown in the hatch pattern. I'm not going to go dwell too much on these. This is the site plan that you've seen before, also in your packet. These are the large-scale buildings that we talked about. You'll see the lots, the 2 up on lot 3, lot 4, and then they get progressively bigger on the outlot D and C, and also with B. The support buildings are shown as such, with also the fencing plan, the ponding plan. So really not much. There's a lot here, but really we don't have to dwell on this anymore. Our building elevations, you've seen these before. So we had 2 different level buildings. We had single level and double levels. The buildings average about 28 feet to approximately 75 to 80 feet on the larger scale building. So this would be actually a 2-level building about 85 feet in height. Under our mixed-use business campus that we created, approved, we had a conditional use permit provision built into that MUBC. We also provided for a new definition. I won't bother you by reading it, but the data center definition that we added. And under 155.310 subparagraph C, conditional uses, number 2, light industry, manufacturing uses, we allow for data centers as a regulated use elsewhere in this section. In that MUBC district, we created a pretty extensive set of standards and requirements for those data centers. I don't have them here tonight because they're really not necessary or needed for your discussions tonight. I may be jumping around a little bit here, but just bear with me. So back in February 5th of 2025, you had a planning commission meeting. I think most of you were here at that time. You did consider initially the rezoning from SG sand and gravel to MUBC. You also considered that subdivision by preliminary plat for the 4 lots and the 2 outlots, a site and building plan authorization for the data center. Now the CUP was also part of the combined application package by the applicant from Oppenham. However, since we did not have the MUBC district created officially, we had to hold off on that CUP until that was created. We couldn't apply something on a district that wasn't created. The expectation was that that hearing was going to take place probably in the near future. And due to some continued extensions by the applicant and by the owners, we're here today because of some of those extensions. So we did provide a detailed presentation by staff to the commission. We did receive numerous comments from the public. In your packet, you obviously see a lot more comments that came in during that time period since that hearing, and therefore we're asking that those be considered part of the public record. The commission did elect to keep the hearing open and continue to a future meeting. On February 25th, in about that time, the applicant did submit updated plans, including the preliminary plat, site grading plans, circulation plans, lighting photometric, noise study, and other information. That information is also in your packet, and but was never really got beyond an official review because we were still working with Rockport, the owners, on the comp plan amendment, which goes back to a previous date of January 15, 2025, when the PC, this group, did conduct an initial public hearing regarding the proposed comp plan amendment application from Rockport. That hearing was closed that night, and the comp plan amendment was tabled to a future undetermined meeting date. During the time from January to April, staff was working with the owners on some issues that were brought up that night. On April 2nd, this item, the comp plan amendment, remember, was reconsidered by the Planning Commission, and after a follow-up presentation by staff and owner, the PC did recommend denial by a 5-to-1 vote. Since that April meeting and up to January 22nd, noted on the screen, again, the Rockport and their consultants worked with our staff, providing some new information, provided for some extensions. Eventually, we came to a point where the owner, Rockport, requested that they be put on the January 22nd council meeting for official review. At that meeting, we presented your recommendations and your findings for denial, and the council unanimously adopted Resolution 2026-11, which denied the request for the comp plan amendment in its entirety. So without that comp plan amendment, this application pretty much could not really go any farther because it would not be consistent with the underlying current comp plan amendment or the zoning code. With that, during that, after that meeting, I did personally try to reach out to the applicant and ask, are you willing to withdraw the application, or what do you want to do with your applications, basically? They said they wanted to proceed. So we set the meeting date for March 18th, tonight, for a public hearing. We did the official notices. A few weeks ago, on March 6th of this year, the applicant formally withdrew its application to rezone the property from SG Sand and Gravel to MUBC. That was followed by a letter from the owners, Rockport, a letter that officially withdrew its consent to the applicant's rezoning of their land and its applications. Due to this withdrawal, the rezoning is no longer under consideration tonight per the request of the applicant and the owner, and does not require further action or recommendation by the PC. So without that zoning, the conditional use permit, the site plan, the plat, they really cannot be approved by this board or by the council. So under PC action tonight, you're going to open and conduct a public hearing on the conditional use permit app for the proposed data center as proposed under planning app PC 2423 BCSZ. Secondly, you're going to reconvene the public hearing from the February 5th meeting for the plat and the site and building plan. And finally, you're going to consider and receive any additional information from city staff, applicant, receive additional comments. You should close both hearings and give final recommendation on all apps. And finally, we do have a recommendation as noted in the packet for a recommendation of denial of all 3 applications before you tonight. With that, I will stand down for any questions if you have any.
Deep breath. Everybody get that? I should have mentioned when I opened that also included the reopening of the February 5th, 2025 public hearing. just because Mr. Benetti was presenting this and it kind of had the background for both of them, but we'll be handling each one separately. So with that, we can proceed with questions regarding for A1, the conditional use permit for the data center. Any questions for the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Maholwald? No? Okay. So no questions for us. So at this time, does the applicant wish to speak?
Good evening, Commissioners. Address first, I am signed in.
You can say your address.
Address is 400 Water Street, Excelsior, Minnesota, 55331. My name is Pete Carbonell. Good evening, my name is Pete Carbonell. I represent the applicant, Oppidan Investment Company. We're a family-owned local development company that's been proud to contribute to this community in the past. Oppidan's first development project in 1991 was actually the Norwest Bank off of Cedar, which is now Wells Fargo. We like to approach development with transparency. This has been an atypical process for us, as we, as noted here, we presented our project 13 months ago. Throughout the process, we have not received feedback on our project, which we would have enjoyed to provide more data and answer and give responses and answer questions. We're investing and building data centers across the country, including Egan, right now. And we do believe that this data center is an appropriate use for this site. We do anticipate a denial tonight, but we found it important. We wanted to address the commission. We take pride in operating with integrity and professionalism, and it's important to us to maintain relationships as we could be before you guys another time with a senior housing project or a retail project of that sorts. So we want to take the time to thank the staff for all their work that they've done reviewing all this, and thank you all for your time with this matter as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for your words. So at this point, I will have any residents that would like to come up and talk. Just keep in mind, please, that the CUP will not be approved because they did withdraw their application for rezoning. So if there's anybody who still has any questions or concerns that is new that we haven't heard prior to the other meetings, please feel free to step forward. Anyone? Okay, with that being said, I will close that hearing for tonight. If there are no further comments, I will close this public hearing. It is the policy of the Planning Commission not to act on an item on the same night as its public hearing. The Planning Commission will weigh all comments and information received tonight in its deliberations at future meetings. This item will continue to appear on future Planning Commission agendas until a recommendation on the petition can be forwarded to the City Council, unless we would like to make our motion or recommendation tonight.
Madam Chair, I recommend denial of the proposed preliminary plat of the Apple Valley Technology Park.
Yes.
Oh, number 3.
Apologize, I should have had that number 1.
Thank you, Sharon.
Number 3? Okay.
Madam Chair, I recommend denial of the conditional use permit for the proposed Apple Valley Technology Park Data Center Campus as requested under the planning application case number PC 24-23-BCSZ, with the findings noted in the attached draft resolution for the City Council consideration and final action.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Scanlon and seconded by Commissioner Sandal. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries on that one. So the second one is already open, correct? So at this point, we ask for commissioners, any questions on the, hold on, I usually have a purple one and it's white.
So, Madam Chair, since we held over the rezoning, the preliminary plat and the site plan from the February 5th meeting,
So any
Really-
questions in
yeah,
regards to that
Any
one?
questions on any of those applications, but for protocol or because they withdrew the rezoning, there should be really no comments or need for any questions or comments on the rezoning.
But I still have to close
You should,
the hearing on
is
that.
that right?
Correct? Okay. So if there are no further comments, I will close this public hearing. It is the policy of the Planning Commission not to act on an item on the same night as the public hearing. The Planning Commission will weigh all comments and information received tonight in its deliberations at future meetings. This item will continue to appear on future Planning Commission agendas until a recommendation on the petition can be forwarded to City Council, unless we again make a recommendation, as we should tonight.
I'll make a motion to recommend denial of the proposed preliminary plat of Apple Valley Technology Park as requested under planning application case number PC 24-23-BCSZ, with the findings noted in the attached draft resolution for City Council consideration and final action.
Second?
Motion was made by Commissioner Maholwald and seconded by Commissioner Scanlon. Any discussion from the commissioners? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
I would also motion to recommend denial of the site plan and building permit authorization for the proposed Apple Valley Technology Park, the data center campus, as requested under planning application case number PC 24-23-BCSZ, with the findings noted in the attached draft resolution for City Council consideration and final action.
Second?
Motion was made by Commissioner Maholwald, seconded by Commissioner Scanlon. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, just a reminder, these three resolutions that were in your packet, they will be presented with a report to our city council at next week's regular meeting on Thursday, March 26th. And there will not be a public hearing that night. It's up to the discretion of the mayor and council to allow for public comments, if any. But typically, your hearings tonight suffice for that public comment period. So,
Okay, sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who came. That brings us to number 5, land use action items. Looks like we do not have any tonight. And other business, the review of upcoming planning commission and city council meetings and other updates. Mr. Benetti, if you could take that one too.
Yep. Give me 1 second. Very quickly, our next meeting is on April 1st and followed by a March 4th meeting, April 15th. And our council meetings, as I mentioned, next Thursday, March 26th, followed by Thursday, April 9th.
Sounds good. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Scanlon and seconded by Commissioner Sandall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.